We got a quorum. Hopefully, my second resolution of the morning will go better than my first. I hope. Um, but with that, I'm going to turn it over to the vice chair. Let him get at the helm here.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. Bring number 5 over. And
Our order of business today is looking at Resolution 642 by Chairman Knight, Nimmer, Burns, Donahue, and Hogan. Which deals with the rescinding of the closure of federal waters of offshore Georgia for the period of April 15th, 2017 through May 31st, 2017 to allow Georgia anglers and saltwater fisher guides a fair and equitable opportunity to enjoy public resources in keeping up with the spirit of intent of Magnuson-Stevens Fisheries Conservation and Management Act and for other purposes. Do we have a presenter?
me.
Okay, all right. Chairman Knight
All right.
is author.
Members of the committee, if you remember when we had our Coastal Resources Division Director came and gave his presentation, during that presentation, this topic of the cobia and the closure of the national waters off of the federal waters off the state of Georgia had come up, and I think also in that presentation, or maybe it was afterwards, as you'll know, that the Department of Natural Resources, our commissioner, they sent the same resolution that you're seeing here in, and I thought it appropriate that this body also put in from a legislative perspective the same resolution, giving support to our DNR and to our commissioner, backing him up on what the issue is. If you'll remember, as the director Spud Woodward was telling us, and as we were going through the presentation, a lot of our fishery is shared up and down the Atlantic coast, and the cobia fishery is one of the fisheries that is shared. If you look on your handout, it's the page that has the picture of the cobia on it. This is a two-sided page, but turn to the page with the picture of the cobia. And you look up there and you'll see the Atlantic group. That's the area up under this fishery. And so what's happened, as you look at this chart, you're seeing the harvest numbers on the left, okay, and it's by state. But I'll also point you to the fact that you see next to up under the chart the pounds of recreational cobia harvested by state, and then you see 2015-16 annual catch limit was 620,000 pounds. Now again, I want to make one point clear: this is recreational. Doesn't apply to the commercial fishery. But this, in other words, for this Atlantic group here, that was what the fishery said was should have been the limit, or the what the catch limit should have been to sustain this population. But if you look over on the left side and you look at North Carolina and Virginia, you look at the pounds that they are catching. And then you look at what Georgia's catching. And you'll see in the last 2 years, Virginia alone caught 718,000 pounds of cobia. And then in 16, they caught 935,000 pounds of cobia. Well, again, let me point you to the annual catch limit for the entire Atlantic group for Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, all the way up to New York, was only 620,000 pounds. So we do have a problem with this. We need to look at managing our fisheries. So what the National Marine Service, Fisheries Service is they, through the Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Conservation and Management Act, they're forced to do something when they find information out about this, which they should. We want to manage our resources to make sure that they're sustainable, that our men and women who enjoy the opportunity to go out and fish have that opportunity, and we've got the resource out there that they can enjoy, but also at a level in which it's sustainable. So through this act, what they did, because they only control the federal waters, is they shut down the entire federal waters, which is from 3 miles out all the way out to 200 miles. State waters are from our land boundary out to 3 miles. Well, the problem is that Georgia fishery, almost all of our cobia are caught in federal waters. And so now Georgia fishermen have zero. I mean, it's shut down. It says if you catch one, you got to return it. We can't keep any. But if you look, and what's happening is you look back up into Virginia, North Carolina, they catch their fisheries. Their fisheries are caught mostly inside the state waters. And so they didn't close their state waters. I understand they may have mitigated it and, fooled the limits a little bit. But in essence, they're still going to be harvesting cobia, but yet Georgia can't. And so all this resolution does is, again, it's a resolution that we're supporting our DNR, and our DNR commissioner who's already sent this, that sends it up to fisheries and says, hey, the action that you've taken really isn't helping, and quite frankly, the Georgia anglers are going to suffer. So if we can read through the resolution if we need to, or if there's any questions, I would be more than happy to address those. All right. Well, let's do speaking, and let's make sure we're proper.
Okay.
3.
Yeah, you may have already covered this, or we may have heard it in another meeting. What are the range on the adult cobia? Do they range like hundreds of miles, or?
Yes.
So these are the same fish we could be catching, but they're catching them up
Yeah,
there.
they're
That's
migratory.
That's what went through this vacuum of mine. Thank you, sir.
Sort of like ducks. There's ducks that they're raised. More likely they're born in the north area and they migrate, but it's the same set of ducks. They're just traveling across different jurisdictions.
That's what I kind of thought.
So,
Thank you.
Representative Spencer.
Chairman, I thank you for bringing this resolution. I'm getting a lot of phone calls about other species, not just this one, but I do appreciate you bringing this resolution, and maybe in the future we could look at other species that might deserve recognition as well, because I'm getting a lot of calls about this.
Well, I appreciate the comment, and again, I think one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and not only support the commissioner and the DNR in doing this is that, we in this park and this General Assembly, when our fishermen start to get out this year and they pick up the regs and they see a closure this year, they're not going to be happy. So we may be the first ones that are getting phone calls or questioning phone calls outside of DNR. So I want to make sure that we're addressing this, and we're supporting our anglers in Georgia. So, Representative Corbett.
At the proper time, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay. And Will, let's just make sure there's no more comments, questions. We do have DNR here, Wes. Y'all have got any comments or additions to that? All right. Chairman Nimber, is the member on the council, do you got any comments to add?
No, sir, I think you've done a great job, great timing, and appreciate the effort on it.
All right, guys. With that, I'm going to recognize Representative Corbett for a motion.
Make a motion do pass.
Any other questions or discussions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. you're supposed to be doing this.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
And it passes.
And that passes.
All right. Thank you, guys.
We,
One thing, because this may be our last meeting.
I dare say it is.
Okay, so if I could, Mr. Chairman, I want to
What mic are you?
Nine.
All right, go ahead.
I wanted to, if I could, invite everybody to attend an event that I do out at Sweetwater Creek State Park every year. This will be the 16th year. I stock the lake out there with catfish. And we invite the elementary, middle school age children to come out and fish. We give them all fishing poles. We have more food than you can eat. Folks come from all over the state to participate in this thing. This will be the 16th year. We average about 2,000 to 3,000 people show up for this event. And I do it in concert with the Georgia Hunting and Fishing Federation. I know you're saying this boy from Harlem, what's he know about? Oh, that's why I invite the Hunting and Fishing Federation to partner with me. But we've probably given away at least 10,000 fishing poles over the years to these kids. And it's just a great event. We have a good time. And I wanted to invite the members of the committee to come out. It's going to be May 20th. At Sweetwater Creek State
Representative,
Park.
as you say this, I'm gonna get my aide to write down the date. In fact, maybe you get with him with the exact date, time,
It's May
place, and
May
we're gonna
20th.
send an email out. We'll send an email out not only to the committee, but we'll blast out to the
Well,
committee.
well, I don't
and
know
to-
if I want the whole state.
Okay,
to
well
show,
then
'cause
the
I can't-
committee. Then-
Because I can't
Okay.
feed all of the state. But,
what
but-
about the committee?
but the committee, absolutely. Yeah. Well, but the problem is I won't be able to feed all of you.
All right, just the
And-
committee then.
Yeah, the committee members, and your family, and
Yeah.
your family. Yeah, but you're welcome to come, and I think it would be good to come out and see our state parks at work.
I think that's truly is angler recruitment. Chairman Nimmer.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that, and I appreciate, and I've heard you open that up and invite this committee in the past, and I'm gonna try to make an effort to go, because one thing I believe Roger Bruce can do is feed the entire state, because he campaigns on that. I have seen his van with the sign that says Bruce will produce. It says Bruce will produce. So we're gonna test him.
All right.
I've added to it. Now it says Bruce will produce again.
There you go. Representative Bruce, thank you. No, that's, and that is different. If every one of us could expose 2,000 or 3,000 kids a year to hunting and fishing, we'd be a better state. I appreciate your effort on that. All right, guys. With that, we are adjourned.